Hey everyone, it's Kariana, your favorite witchy coach. All right, guys, so before I dive into the video, I am going to remind you to like, share, and subscribe. And then also to all of my information for sessions will be down in the description box below. So check that out if you need help on your journey. All right, so you guys have asked me to do a part 2 of my last video, which was about 3Ps and how to get rid of a 3P for good. You guys have asked me for a part 2. I had actually a couple of subscribers reach out to our team and ask a couple questions, regarding the 3P video that I did. And I'm jumping back on here. I'm going to do it part 2, and then I'm going to get into my next video after that about blocks and resistance and how to identify those. Okay. So it's going to be kind of like, 2-3 parts. The first one, if you guys have already watched that, it's about 3P and how to get rid of a 3P for good. I had it talked about it for for a while on this channel. I sprinkled it in my last, videos and stuff like that here and there and talked about and touched on the subject. But, it had been a long time since I did a whole video dedicated to 3P situations. And I just did that for you guys. You guys wanted a part 2 to go more in depth about situation. And so I will. And then, like I said, the third video to kind of follow that up would be how to identify your blocks and resistance, obviously, so you can keep going in your story and stand strong so it hardens into fact so you never have another 3P situation come up, right? Okay, so I want to remind you guys, okay, that just like in my last video, how I was saying that there's no need to hate the 3P. I mean, I was joking around about it because I always do in session and stuff. We need to make these things light. I feel like that really helps us step back into our power. I'm a very serious person, but I feel like a 3P situation can be ultra serious and seem ultra permanent. And that's why, a lot of times I'll look around and be like, your 3P doesn't have to fall off a cliff somewhere, or you don't have to hate them or whatever the case may be, right? Because when we're dealing with a 3P, obviously it's something, and I'm going to refer to 3P as a person in this video as well, just so it'll be easier for you guys to understand. But a 3P can be, for those who are listening to this and haven't watched part 1 or don't really know much about LOA and 3Ps and they're curious, a 3P can be anything that's impeding your manifestation from coming in at all, or coming in the way that the exact way that you desire it to come in. It can be a job. It can be a mother-in-law. It can be a best friend that your SP has. It can be an ex. It can be a coworker. It can be anybody that's impeding your manifestation from coming in. It can be a damn video game. Okay. But with that being said, we don't have to hate it. Okay. The reason why I put emphasis on that is because we need to realize that we created this. We need to realize that a 3P, whatever it may be, okay, person, place, thing, okay. The reason why a 3P is popping up is a direct reflection of your self-concept, right? And this is the thing that I didn't really touch on too much in the first video, is because I was really just trying to focus on how to create a story to get rid of the 3P for good. Okay. I really wanted to focus on that. Now, I'm not, just because I'm saying that you don't have to hate this 3P, whatever it is, because we created it, right? We can dislike it. We can say, we don't want it here, but you don't have to despise it. Okay. Because remember what I said in the first video, the more that you put the attention on it, because usually when we're disliking something so deeply, we're even saying a word as strong as hate, right? We are focusing on it. We're putting energy into it, right? Because what do they say? When you hate something, you still have passion behind it, right? When you're indifferent about something, you're indifferent. You could care freaking less. There's no emotion behind it. You can take it or leave it or whatever. It doesn't make you lose sleep at night. But when you actually dislike something deeply and you hate it, you're still putting focus on it, and there's still passion behind that. So that's why I always try to make it a little bit lighter and joke around about it and make it a point to say, we don't have to hate the 3P, right? I understand that these situations are very serious. I've been in a couple myself where I've had a 3P in my face and I'm like, how am I going to do this? Right. It's affected me. Now, this was years ago because, you know, I've been doing this for so long that even if I get swept up in the 3D because I'm not a robot, I'm a human, just like everybody else, I can pull myself out very quickly. I rarely dwell in things, you know, unless I have the other things that are compiled on in my life that seem very heavy as well. That's when it's kind of tricky for me, even as a conscious creator for all these years, and now a teacher for tons of years, right? But that's what I say. Like, you know, I don't want you guys to get caught in that undertow of that. I hate this. I dislike this so much. I have so much passion behind it, because all you're doing is just recycling it. That's all you're doing. You're just giving it life over and over and over and over and over and over again. And that's why it seems like it never goes away. You have to remember that even if this 3P is not always in our face, right? And we have an opportunity to watch everything that this 3P is doing. You know, we're affirming over here, we're changing the story, we're scripting, we're doing all these things, and then we're checking for the 3P to be gone, right? That's the exact opposite of what I don't want you to do, right? And we have to make up our minds, right, that this is working for us, that the 3P is gone and that it's permanent. We must decide on that, right? And what do I always say? You declare it, you command it, you say, I am saying that this is it, that it is, and so it is, right? That's my story now. This is my story now. And you have to be firm in that. You have to stand really firm in that, because people will come to me and say, oh my gosh, Kariana, just like the success story that I mentioned on my short, I've been dealing with this for 6, 8 months, a couple years, whatever your story is, and whatever the 3P is that we're dealing with, right? I've been dealing with this for so long and it does not seem to be budging. And I always tell my clients that, okay, I know exactly what's going on here. You're changing the story, okay, over here, whether you be affirming it, scripting, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's all intentions to your subconscious. And so you're changing over here, and then you're checking and you're looking for this confirmation, this validation of if it's gone or not, right? And then you're signaling to your brain that it's not gone, okay? Or that you're not sure that if you're powerful enough to knock it out, or that you need some kind of validation. And once again, then you're going in and out, right? Also too, I mean, I'm not going to go too deep into this, but also too, you know, once again, you need to relinquish that control to your higher consciousness, your God self, the spirit within you, and say, okay, now you take this over. I hand the baton to you, and now it's your turn, right? Because I've already created this. I've already told you what I want. Now it's your turn to make this happen for me, when and where, not my job. Okay. So the minute that you start affirming for this, you must declare and command that it's your story and it is done. And so it is. So it is. And then you need to stand firm in that. And what do I always say? Turn the attention back on yourself. If you're ever confused, live your life. I've told you how to drop in your body. I've told you how to drop in your mind. There's a lot of things that you can do, right? Also too, okay, that was my next thing that I was going to get into. You have to remember that movement is always happening, right? Always happening. So we don't need to look for it. There's no need to be looking for validation and confirmation out in your 3D. That's, you know, that is the tricky part here, is that movement is always happening, even if we're not seeing it. So like I said, if this 3P is not in your face, right? You don't work with this person, or it's not a video game that you're seeing that your SP is, you know, playing and taking the attention off you all the time, or it's not a best friend that your SP decides to hang out with over you all the time, and it's right in front of your face, right? You know, I always say it's better if it's not in front of your face, right? Because in that way you can literally live in your Delulu world of, yes, I have declared this, I've commanded it, and so it is. It is my story now. I don't have to go and search for it. I don't have to worry about the movement that's happening behind the scenes, because I know that it is. Why? Because I'm the creator and this is my freaking world. I'm on the pedestal and I'm the one that has the free will. And that's just it. You guys have to stand firm in these things. Learn to stand firm, whether you're seeing the validation and you're seeing the evidence or not, right? What do I always say? Ask for the damn evidence, command the evidence, right? Go to bed with intention and ask your subconscious for it. Ask your God self, I'm ready. I'm open and ready to receive this. Give me give me undeniable evidence this is happening, right? Give it to me. Show me signs. Slap me in my face with it, right? Surprise me, shock me. So I cannot ignore this, okay? You would be surprised how crazy fast your life changes. I've given this to a lot of my clients, and every single one of them have come back in one way, shape, or form and told me how much it shaped their life and changed their life. I bank on it. Okay. And then, okay, so I took another note. Okay. Because I don't want to miss anything for you guys. Okay. In this video, it's very, very important that I'm kind of following up with what you do next. Okay. So let me remind you guys one more time. Okay. Because a 3P has appeared does not mean that your SP is now an a-hole, right? And is doing this to you on purpose and wants to be this jerk and this and that. No, I'm going to tell you guys straight up, because I'm a straight up girl. Okay. Your SP is your puppet if you allow them to be. Why? Because you're the one on the pedestal. You're the one with the free will. Okay. Everybody is your puppet in your reality. Literally. I mean, you're calling shots. You are writing that script. You are the main freaking character, right? And everybody follows suit. Everybody conforms to that. All right. And I stand firm in that. I have watched too many things in my life shape, conform, change, parrot back to me. I can't explain it. And then in my life, I have taught that to my clients, and I've seen it in their lives. Okay. So if an S or a 3P is popping up in your reality, it is because it is a direct reflection of your self-concept. Okay. The story that you're telling 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10 to your subconscious, the story that you're running around telling, the story that you're up all night worried about. Okay. The story that you wake up in the morning and you're thinking about, the story that you're narrating constantly to your subconscious. Okay. So and that's going to be kind of my next video about finding your blocks and resistance, because, okay, when we're trying to get rid of a 3P, it is not important to be focused right away anyways, right? We want to initiate a new story to our subconscious about this 3P, getting rid of this 3P. Okay. And yes, it can be, say it's your SP and another person. Okay. And you want to get rid of the other person. Of course you can say, I mean, I've had clients come to me and say their best friend is a hot ass mess and I do not want to deal with them anymore. I don't want them in my life. They're taking up too much of SP's time. I never have time with my SP anymore. Okay, cool. All right. So we're going to change that, right? It's okay to say that your SP got into a fight with their best friend and now they're not talking, or your SP's best friend moved away with their significant other and they're in a whole nother state and they only see each other once a year, right? Something like that. That is fine. That's fine. I've had people ask me like, well, can there be a blow up? Can there be a fight? Can there be an argument? I mean, if you like that kind of drama, cool, right? That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If it's in-laws, if it's family, and you want, the situation to be different than it is. Okay. So say it's a mother-in-law that's a 3P and you guys don't get along and you want to flip that around because obviously the mother-in-law seems very permanent, right? Your SP loves their mother. Okay, cool. And you want to change that story. Well, look at the big picture. Okay. How do you want this family dynamic to be? How do you want to change it? How do you want to strengthen that? How do you want that to change and work in your favor? Okay. We'll say that your SP is spending time with his mom without you or his family, and you feel like you're isolated and they never include you. Okay. Well, then now we're going to change that to, okay, my mother-in-law is completely, adores me and views me. In fact, the whole family views me as SP's perfect partner, right? They see how compatible that we are. They don't see anybody else for him. They love me, right? Everyone loves me. I'm easy to commit to, right? I'm easy to love. They see me as a grounding force for SP. They see me as a good influence for SP. Okay. So you can change things around like that. It's perfectly fine. But if you're trying to detox somebody, get them out of your life, it's an SP X situation, like I talked about my first video, that's totally fine. You can totally, say things blew up between them, they're not cool anymore. 3P is gone, up the road, happy with the ex, or found their perfect partner now and they're good. Yes, but whatever the story is, you got to stand firm in it. Okay. I cannot say that enough. You got to stand firm in it. You got to declare it as your new story. You got to command that it's true. You got to command that the movement is happening right when you start declaring it. And do not look for the evidence. There's no need. Do not look for the validation, because you will stay in the hamster wheel if you do that. And things will look like they're not moving at all when they are. But the minute that you start looking for the validation, you start searching for the evidence that they're still around or not. Okay. You're signaling to the subconscious that you don't think that you're powerful enough to do this. You think that they're still around. You're not sure, and you're not standing firm in your story, and you haven't commanded or declared anything. So then now all of a sudden, boom, the SP is back. I'm sorry, the 3P is back. And it'll look like nothing's budged. Okay. So just wanted to touch on that. But yes, 3P pops up. It is absolutely a direct reflection of your self-concept. Okay. So once you make this story up and you declare that it's your new story, and you give it to your higher consciousness, your God self, to push this out when and where, guess what we do? Okay. Just like I said in my first video, you live your life. I've given you some tips on that, but you got to turn inward, guys, and you got to be looking at your self-concept. Okay. And you know how I feel about self-concept, your power, they go hand in hand. They're a perfect marriage. Okay. You got to step back into your power, and then your self-concept gets strengthened. And anything that you're battling from there, anything that you're insecure about from there, anything that you're questioning, okay, keeping you up at night, thinking about it in the shower, when your mind's on idle, those are the things that you need to work on in your self-concept. And your self-concept and your power go hand in hand. And I've always said that, and I always will. Okay. And then, yeah, I mean, let's see. Also too, okay, let me, I'm going to stand firm in this. Let me reiterate this to you guys. Okay. You also need to be strengthening your story with your SP. Okay. I'm going to use that as an example. There's, like I said, there's countless 3P situations, but let me focus on if it was another person, right? In your situation, you also need, once you get rid of this 3P with this new story and you start really turning inward, okay, because it's always the answer is to put the focus back on yourself. Always the answer. If you're ever confused, self. That's it. Self, because you're the creator. If you're ever confused, okay, that's fine. You also need to incorporate, because what did I say? What do you value? Make sure that your SP is incorporated in your life correctly, right? You've really got to strengthen your story with SP, okay? What does a strong relationship look like to you? What is a strong relationship where you never have to worry about another person entering it again, whether it be a best friend, an ex, a coworker, something flirty going on, something shady going on, whatever the case may be? What does a strong relationship look like where nobody can touch it? Nobody can break you apart because no one compares to you. You guys are absolutely unbreakable. Your bond is absolutely unbreakable. What does that look like to you? And then build on that. Okay. So you absolutely need to be strengthening your story about you and SP in the middle of this. Okay. And you should be doing that anyways if you're trying to manifest an SP and manifest a very solid relationship with them. Okay. And like I said, there's a lot of scenarios I hear. I mean, I like been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. I mean, I have heard it all. Okay. In all these years that I've been teaching this and been a conscious creator, and I can't touch on all of them, but I'm saying that if your story includes an SP and another person, okay, doesn't matter, it could be a best friend even, we really got to be strengthening the story about you and SP and what your relationship bubble looks like together. Doesn't matter about anybody else. what does that strong relationship look like? That unbreakable bond looks like, and then build on that. Okay. So guys, I hope this video is not going to be really long, but I'm going to stop it there, leave it there. And then, like I said, part 3, I guess, because it's not really the same subject, but it does help you with this, is going to be about finding your blocks and resistance, how to identify those. Okay. So I'm going to leave it there. I love, love, love you guys. You guys are all powerful. What do I say? Badasses. You guys are. And I just, I hope you guys are having a beautiful night, morning, afternoon, whenever you're watching this. And I will see you guys in my next video. I love you all. Bye.